All right, if you would, go ahead and take out your speed drill and review exercise booklet and turn to page 26. There at the top of the page, page 26, speed drill 25. Practicing with some division. Some of the division really easy, a couple of division problems a little bit harder, a little bit longer, but some of them a little bit more straightforward. But a good thorough review of various types of division, including signed numbers, fractions, complex fractions, of course long division as well. You will have 5 minutes to complete this exercise, and you may begin. stop. Put down your pencils, and if you would, go get your pens out. Pencils away and pens out. Pencils away, pens out. Just put the pencil away, and you have your pen out, and let's go ahead and grade speed drill 25. Top row, there are 4 problems. These are 15 points each. Top one, very first one, should have been really easy. Negative divided by negative automatically gives you a positive. Of course, we know 81 divided by 9 is 9, so positive 9 should have been a free 15 points. Positive 9, your first answer. For the next one, we should have multiplied by the reciprocal 1/9. Then we could have canceled the 3 with the 9 to get 1 and 3 to get an answer of 1/15. 1/15. The next one is another signed number division. Positive 56 divided by negative 8. Well, the signs are different to get a negative 7. Again, should have been a free 15 points. And for the last one on that row, here we would have had to change them to say 11 halves over 19 fourths, then multiply by the reciprocal 4/19. Only a little bit of canceling you can do to end up getting 1 and 3/19. If you left your answer as 22/19, just minus 1 point. I'm not going to take off all 15 for that, but I did not want the improper fraction 22/19. 1 and 3/19 is our answer. Next row just has 2 problems, and this one here probably was the longer one. Use 26 as your estimator here, since it's almost 2,600. You get 23. It does divide evenly, 23. And for the next one, really actually not that hard. You've got a clear estimator of 7. Works out pretty nicely and evenly to 355. 355. So 15 points per problem. Starts, I believe, at a free 10%, but 15 points each. So minus 0, of course, so 100 back on the score page for speed drill 25. Minus 1 would be an 85. Minus 2 would be a 70. Hopefully didn't miss more than 2 on this exercise. How'd you do?
Surprisingly, a 100.
Very nice. Hundreds both. All right, excellent. And done with about 30 seconds to spare, both of them, which was good. All right, great job. Just 2 speed drills left the rest of the school year. So the end is in sight. Speaking of the end, we have a test coming up tomorrow in lesson 154. Let's go over the homework as we begin reviewing for the test tomorrow. So textbooks out, if you would please open to page 502. Page 502. Read numbers 18 through 36, the even problems. We've done the odds yesterday, evens for homework last night. Practicing with multiplying and dividing monomials, thinking 3 steps over and over and over, ringing in our heads, class.
Sign number.
Sign number, letter. A little bit of echo coming on over here. Sign number, letter are the 3 things going through our heads constantly as we work these problems. Excellent. Let's go over the answers, see how we did. Let's see, there were 9 problems, I believe, for homework. So let's see if we went 9 for 9. Number 18. What did you get for your answer here? Joshua, a negative exponent. You're curious to see how you did with it.
Negative 4g cubed n to the negative 3rd.
Great job. Negative 4g cubed n to the negative 3rd, or negative 4g cubed over n cubed, because the n to the negative 3rd could move down by a reciprocal into the denominator as an over n cubed instead. Either answer is correct. Great job. Number 20, you had some distribution line.
15b cubed negative 10b.
Great job. 15b cubed negative 10b. Number 22, Joshua.
3g squared. I mean, not g, my bad. S squared. Positive 12s.
Good. 3s squared positive 12s. Number 24, division of a monomial, Lana.
Positive 44r squared positive 4r.
That is correct. Problem? You looked perplexed.
Number 18. I do not know what I did.
Well, we'll take a look at that one here in just a little bit. But your answer for 24 was correct. 44rs squared positive 4r. Try to move on. Number 26, Joshua.
16c to the 5th positive 40c.
Good. 16c to the 5th positive 40c. Number 28, Lana.
6y to the 5th positive 2y cubed.
Good. 6y to the fifth, positive 2y cubed. Number 30, Joshua.
Negative 66d squared, positive 24d.
Good, you remember the d. Negative 66d squared, positive 24d. I point this out over and over again, not to pick on you, but so that way you won't possibly miss it on the test tomorrow. Number 32, Lana.
Positive 4xy squared. Yeah, I don't know why.
Make sure you write neatly so you can read your own writing.
Negative 2y positive 2/3.
Great job. 4xy squared, negative 2y, positive 2/3. Number 34, Joshua.
5m negative 4 over m negative 6 over m squared.
Great job. Two different fractions in the answer. 5m is straightforward, then negative 4 over m, then a negative 6 over m squared. Great job. Number 36, Lana.
Negative 1f over 3. Negative 1 positive 11d over 3f.
Great job on a really weird problem. Negative f thirds, or f over 3, negative 1, positive 11d over 3f. Fantastic job on a weird problem. Joshua, did you get number 36?
No.
You did not. Let's take a look at that. Lana, you wanted to look at number 18. Anything we need to look at besides 18 and 36? Those are the only two? All right. Now, 18, you will not have one like this on the test tomorrow. Remember, I mentioned that specifically yesterday. No negative exponents on the test, but you'll see it in Algebra 1. Doesn't hurt to learn it early, especially since it's right here. So remember sign, number, letter. I've got a positive, and a negative. That's one negative, which is odd, which gives me negative. I've got 4 times 1 times 1. Really, 4 is the only number, so 4. I've got a g that cubed, and it has no friends, so let's keep the g cubed. And then the n. N to the negative 8th, and n to the 5th. We are multiplying them. You multiply like bases, Lana, you add the exponent. So we're going to add negative 8 plus the positive 5, and that's where we get the negative 3. Or, like I mentioned before, you could remember that a negative exponent means reciprocal, in which case the negative 4g cubed remains in the top, and the reciprocal of the n cubed becomes over n cubed, and either one of these would be a correct answer. Does that make sense now? All right, and then Joshua, number 36, we have the 2df squared positive 6df negative 22d squared all over negative 6df. So just looking at these first two things, what's the sign?
Negative.
Now the number, can you divide 2 by 6?
No.
No, 6 by 2, yes. 2 by 6, no. We're going to reduce the fraction 2/6 to get
1 over 3.
1/3. All right, then the d's are going to,
Cancel.
but we don't cross them out. I need that d for later. And then f squared divided by f,
F.
just f in the top, because that's where the bigger power was.
Yeah.
Then we come to the next thing. Positive divided by negative,
Negative.
6 divided by 6,
1.
and then the d's
Cancel.
and the,
F. Cancel.
all right, so we're done with that. Then we come to the next one. Sign,
Negative. I mean positive.
positive, because the signs are the same. You can't divide 22 evenly by 6, so again, think 22/6, reduce it down to get
11 over 3.
good 11/3. I've got a d squared divided by d
A D.
in the
Bottom. No, top.
top, because that's where the bigger
Yeah.
power is.
Yeah.
And then the f has no friends, so it just stays in the
Bottom.
bottom, where it was, and that's the answer that Lana had. Does it make sense now?
Yeah.
All right, good. Any other questions on the homework before we move on? All right. If you would, go ahead and look across the page now at numbers 47 to 52, practicing factoring out the common factor. We didn't get to work on that yesterday other than what was in the homework as we went over it. So 47 to 52, factoring common factors. Page 503. Remember, identify what number and or what letters may be common, and then factor them out or pull them out, divide them out in parentheses, write down everything that's left after you've divided or factored that monomial away. Let's go ahead and take a look at these together. As we look at this first polynomial, what is common to each of these terms? Joshua?
3.
A 3. You always look for the number first. So we see there's a 3 and 3, and there's a 3 and 15. There are no letters common. Once we've identified the common factor, we're going to divide it out of each term, and whatever's left goes here. Just in normal factoring, you divide the factor, and you write what's left. So we divide the 3 out, we get
1/8, positive 5.
And there we go. We have factored the polynomial. Did you have that, Lana? Looking at the next one, Lana, notice the exponents here of x. Do you see how we have x squared? Then we have x to the first. Then we have x to the 0 power, meaning there aren't any x's there, right? So obviously, being lazy, we don't write it. What do we call that, Lana, where the power gets smaller? Do you remember? Blank order. Descending order. Good, they've given it to us in descending order. By the way, you notice that here. Squared first, descends. Cubed, squared first, descends. Fourth, squared, still descends. So we see that descending order, but that's just a side note. We're going to get there next year. What was common though, Lana?
2.
Just a 2. No letters common, just that one little number 2 common. What were you left with when you factored out the 2?
3x squared plus 1x negative 5.
There we go, and there's our factored form of the polynomial. Did you get this, Joshua? On the next one, Joshua, what was your answer?
10 cubed times the quantity of 1 cubed negative 5.
Great job. This time there's a number and a letter common. The number 10, could have chosen 2, could have chosen 5. I like that he went with 10 instead. And the common q as well. Divided away the 10q to leave himself with 1q negative 5. Or you could just say q negative 5. Did you get this, Lana? On the next one, Lana, your answer?
2n times the quantity 4n squared positive 6n positive 9.
There we go. You wish there was something bigger than just a 2, like, oh good, there's a 4 common, but nope, not in 18. Maybe there's a 6, but not in the 8. So, yep, the best you can do is 2n. Great job there. And Josh, did you get that?
Please.
Excellent. For the next one, Joshua.
8c squared times the quantity 3c squared negative 5.
Fantastic. Now, I will confess, as I was looking at this, my brain said 4c squared. So when you said 8, it took me a second. I was like, oh yeah, that's true, there is an 8. What if we had just said 4c squared? What would have been left, Lana, as we divided the 4c squared out?
6c squared negative 10. I had that answer.
Ah, that was your answer as well. So your brain like mine. Now, Lana, what I told you before was once you factor, look at what's left. Is there anything still common? No. Anything still common? No. Anything still common? No. Anything still common? No. But right here, anything still common?
Yes.
There's still a 2. So if you pull the 2 out, it leaves you with the 3c squared negative 5 and the 8c squared. So it doesn't mean you're wrong, it just means you hadn't finished yet. Does that make sense? You just needed to go a little bit further, and that's okay. That happens frequently. As I mentioned, my brain initially filled in the 4c squared, so I would have done the same thing, and it's like, wait, there's still, 8 would have gone in. So look for the 2. It's hard, but check that polynomial to make sure there's nothing left. Great job, Joshua, spotting the 8, not just the 4. And Lana, our last one.
5mn times declining 3a positive 5b positive 7c.
And that is correct. Great job. And Joshua, I heard a noise from you.
No, because I forgot the letters.
Oh, you got the 5 and forgot about the mn. So you had 5 times 3amn plus 5bmn plus 7cmn.
Yep.
And despite writing mn over and over again, it didn't quite register to get the letters out. Okay. So again, same thing as we mentioned, Alana, you could have been like, wait, duh, there's still an mn there. Okay, pull the mn out. That takes you down to the 3a, 5b, 7c Lana had, and now you have a 5mn as your common factor. Again, so not wrong, just not finished yet. Okay, questions on factoring out common factors? Go ahead and clear your desk if you would, please. Let's go ahead and take a quiz over factoring out these common factors. Just one last check to make sure we're really ready for that test in our next lesson. So one clean sheet of paper and a pencil. Clean sheet of paper and a pencil. We are going to be grading this quiz in class today, so the YouTube video will stop. This will end part 1. There will be a part 2, so that way we in this classroom can go over the quiz before the students take the test tomorrow. So, sheet of paper and a pencil is all you'll need out. That'll end this first part of lesson 153, and then we'll pick up part 2 here in just a few minutes again. When you get your quiz, put your first and last name in the name spot and today's date in the date spot. Today is 4/13/21. 4/13/21, today's date. First and last name, 4/13/21, today's date. Very quickly, let's take a look at the quiz together. Numbers 1 and 2, you're just dividing. And numbers 3 through 10, I believe it is. Yes, numbers 3 through 10, you're simply factoring. One might argue you're still dividing, aren't you? So basically, division. All right, you may begin.